Another day, another Muslim preacher calling another Muslim preacher liar. This time, it's Faris al-Hamadi taking aim at Uthman ibn Farooq, the popular Dawa guy with millions of followers of footprint, accusing him of misrepresenting Islam and confusing Muslims and non-Muslims alike. What is the fight about? The Qur'an. Not recitation styles, not the translations, the Qur'an, the literal speech of Allah. And apparently, Muslims can't even agree what that means. They are arguing over the very nature of the Qur'an. And yes, it gets pretty ugly. So let's break it down. Uthman says to David Wood,
this is not all of Kalamullah. Much more than it's always been with Allah. And when the situation is right, Allah revealed. You know the Qur'an.
In translation, he says, God's speech is eternal and Quran was revealed piece by piece depending on the situation. Okay? Sounds like typical Islamic theology, right? You would be thinking. But Faris is not having it. Because he's not having it, Faris al-Hamadi walks in with Hama. And he says,
Yani Allah spoke all these things, Allah spoke before, and then when it happened, it started revealing it. And this is wrong. Even Shaykh ibn Uthman said al-Qa'idah is that Allah spoke to Jibreel and Jibreel revealed it to Muhammad. Allah spoke to Jibreel and Jibreel revealed it to Muhammad as the situation happened. Hadithul Ahad. The Quran is not eternal. The attribute of Allah is eternal. Allah speaks, that attribute is eternal. طبعا Uthman Farooq mixed up these two.
And he warns,
بعدين يعني نصيحة لعثمان, may Allah guide you and reward you and forgive you. Don't get into these matters, these very, very detailed matters in Aqidah. Don't get into them. Al-Ummah doesn't need this. Yeah, young brothers are listening to you. If you want to do da'wah, first of all, do da'wah with what you know. And don't get into these matters, which I think you got confused about, and you're going to confuse people about it. Yeah, and then you're doing this with kuffar also. Yeah, with this David Wood and all that. You're saying things that are wrong to them. You're misrepresenting Islam. But this is not the right way.
Boom. That's not a correction. That is public rebuke. A public takedown, Muslim on Muslim, over the definition of the Quran itself. Think about that. So now you've got two Muslims who are involved in dawah calling each other out over how the Quran works. Think about that. And this is not just you misunderstood me. This is you are wrong about God. You are wrong about His word. You are misleading people. You are damaging Islam. And this is all happening public. And these are the guys telling the rest of the world that Islam is clear and unified. It's very difficult to see that right now. They can't even agree on what the Quran is. They are not debating Hadith. They are not debating the law. They are debating the very speech of Allah and very foundation of Islam, and calling each other confused and dangerous. Think about that. And before anyone kind of says, oh, this is just two Muslims are misunderstand one another, all that. No, this is not the case. Muslims have been fighting over this for centuries, not even decades, but for centuries. And this is not just something between Faris versus Uthman. It is the same war, just with YouTube thumbnails now. Let's remember the history. Go back the so-called golden age of Islam, and you will find that Muslims couldn't even agree on the basic definition of the Quran. One question divided Muslim community wide open. Was the Quran created or eternal? Sounds simple. It wasn't though. Mutazilites. The Quran is created, so it had a beginning. Hanbalis, uncreated. It is eternal, part of God's nature. Do I remember correctly, Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal was imprisoned and tortured for refusing to say it was created. In Shia world, things didn't get clear at all. They just got weird and weirder. Some said Quran sound is created, but the meaning behind is eternal. So, what you hear is temporary, but what it means lives forever. In translation, sound created, meaning is eternal, so pick your poison. That's not clarity, that's simply mental gymnastic. The Kharaji said Quran was created. The Murjiya said, maybe it is created, maybe it is not. The Ash'ari said, it's a mental attributes of God, not physical, not verbal, but still somehow speech. Ghazali tried to square the circle. He said, God's speech is eternal, but the recited word in the Quran, like fire, yeah, those were not in the Quran for all eternity. His words, the word fire didn't exist in the Quran from all eternity. So Allah speaks eternally, but not with the words that existed eternally. Nazam said that Quran is just broken letters strung together to make sound when recited. Muammar said God is a speaker, but he doesn't speak. Yeah, really. Al-Bakilani said recitation is created, but the meaning behind is eternal. Iskafi said the Quran is found in many locations at the same time. Others said it existed only in the preserved tablets. Not here, not now. All of those were Muslim scholars. All of them claimed to follow the truth, and none of them agreed on what Quran actually is. So now, centuries later, watching Faris and Uthman pick up the same war, but this time it's on camera. Yeah, this is not side debate. This is a civil war over Allah's voice, and it's been raging since the beginning. But back to Faris and Uthman. The irony is, these two guys are supposed to be out there doing dawah, calling people into Islam, and now they are out here saying each other are misleading Muslims and non-Muslims. Faris even says,
بعدين يعني نصيحة لعثمان, may Allah guide you and reward you and forgive you. Don't get into these matters, these very, very detailed matters in Aqidah. Don't get into them. Al-Ummah doesn't need this. Yeah, young brothers are listening to you. If you want to do da'wah, first of all, do da'wah with what you know. And don't get into these matters, which I think you got confused about, and you're going to confuse people about it. Yeah, and then you're doing this with kuffar also. Yeah, with this David Wood and all that. You're saying things that are wrong to them. You're misrepresenting Islam. But this is not the right way.
Stop talking about this. You are not qualified. You are making Islam look bad. And he's not wrong. Uthman is just like very much messed up man, but he's not wrong, because if you are preaching different version of Allah's speech, how is anyone supposed to know what Islam even teaches? So next time when you hear Muslims says Islam has one message, one book, one God and one truth, just ask them, which Quran are you talking about? Are you talking about the one that is eternal? Or are you talking about the one revealed in time? Or the one your own scholars cannot even agree on? Because if Muslim preachers are calling publicly one another out on most important part of their religion, you better believe this is not just a small disagreement. It is the crack in the foundation. And it's all happening on camera. Islam is supposed to be united. But the more deeper you go, the more you find that even Muslims cannot even agree on Islam. So very basic principles. Stay away from Islam, run away from Islam, and run into the arms of Lord Jesus Christ.